Culture gaps. Culture gaps. Culture gaps. Culture gaps. Culture gaps.
Welcome to Culture Gaps, y'all. A podcast where we talk about famous movies that either one or both of us hasn't seen. Greg?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I'm Mike, in case no one knew that by now. It's like episode freaking 100, right?
11. This is episode 11.
God damn, we've only been doing that many episodes?
Yeah.
Man, I feel like
Time
I've been doing
flies.
this for ages. So, for episode 11,
Yep.
there's no way this is 11, we're going to give you a movie that you haven't seen, Greg.
Yeah, this is a movie I never saw.
And that movie is called Predator.
Predator, To Catch a Predator
Oh,
with Chris Hansen. That's what this movie is, right?
That's exactly what this movie is. I haven't seen it in a while, so it could be. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this movie because I myself have not seen it in forever.
Right.
Not literal forever, like I have seen it.
Yeah, I literally have not seen this movie in forever because I never saw it.
Right. You haven't seen this movie in forever, Greg.
Yeah, it's true.
So tell me about it. What do you think?
So I know quite a bit about this movie, I think. I know it by reputation. It's like a classic 80s action movie with huge muscly dudes just kind of being bros together in the jungle. I know that the Predator is this, I don't know, I think it's like an alien of some sort, and it's capable of turning invisible. And it, as its name implies, it hunts and kills people. And all these muscly dudes go out into the jungle to try and kill it. But it proves to be a formidable foe.
Damn.
And there's a lot of violence.
When you say muscly bros, do you know who's in this movie?
I believe this movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
And then I want to say there's someone else like Carl Weathers, maybe. Is it Carl Weathers?
Greg, I'm not allowed to confirm or deny anything about movies on this podcast.
I feel like Carl Weathers is in this movie, along with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I couldn't tell you who else is in it. Maybe like Dolph Lundgren or someone like that.
Maybe LeVar Burton.
Probably. I don't think LeVar Burton is in this movie.
Yeah, big muscly dudes. Maybe Patrick Stewart.
You're just naming Star Trek cast members now.
Yeah, big muscly bros.
Right.
Brett Spiner.
Clearly. Right.
All right. So how do you feel about that? You a big Arnold fan?
I'm not a huge Arnold fan, but I will say that there's a certain amount of camp to his movies and performances that I enjoy. Like, I don't think it's necessarily intentional, but in the same way that I really love Nicolas Cage, it's like with Arnold, it's there's always something fun to watch on screen, you know. Wow. And some of his 80s action movies end up, you know, being fun because they're kind of B movie-ish, like Total Recall or something. Which I love that movie, but it's goofy as all hell.
I don't think I've seen that one. That's on my list, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think it is. I don't remember seeing that movie. That's the one where he's like on a planet and his face is exploding or something.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's like a very brief thing that happens at the beginning, but yeah.
We'll unwrap that another time. Do you know the famous quote from this movie?
The famous quote from this movie?
The famous Arnold quote.
I don't know. Maybe. It's
not
not
maybe
coming
you just
to
don't
mind.
know it's from this movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you named the most famous Arnold quote,
get to the chopper.
Yeah. That's this movie.
Said exactly how I just said it.
Yeah, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the helicopter, man.
That's how Arnold speaks, famously.
That's how I hear it.
Right. Yeah, I think this movie is just going to be a lot of like cheesy action, lots of like guns and blood and stuff. And I don't know. I'm not expecting there to be a lot of depth to it. Just kind of like a fun, bloody action movie. I guess maybe
It'll
that's
be visceral.
yeah, visceral. That's a good word.
You know where I got that from? Same person I got this idea for this movie from.
Oh, Ray Olsen.
Ray Olsen pretty much picked this for you.
Well, I appreciate
Because
it.
I named him like 5 movies you haven't seen, and he was very fixated on Predator.
I'm sure, yeah. People get real upset when they find out I haven't seen this movie.
Yeah. He talked like Arnold the rest of the night.
Wow.
Like, everything was said in an Arnold accent.
I think this movie, I never saw it because it just didn't seem like there was much depth to it. Like, not that it seemed bad, and it seemed like, oh, I should watch this for like, you know, just like cultural significance, but it just seemed like, is there anything there? Or is it just going to be like, you know, big rippling veiny muscles and then, you know, like predator violence? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean,
I guess that's all it needs to be, but
Yeah. I'd be surprised if you did see it. You know what I mean?
interesting. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if this is when you're like, yeah, I've seen Predator.
Oh
Did
yeah.
you, Gregg?
I
Or you
really
just
wanted to
pretending
go
you
see
did?
that. Yeah.
But that's what this podcast is for, finding movies like this that people love and you haven't seen.
It's true. I think this is a good pick. I'm curious to see what this movie is actually like. I feel like I've seen enough clips from it and heard enough about it that I just like have an image in my mind of what this movie's going to be going in. And it's hard for me to imagine that it's going to surprise me in any way, but I'm curious to see if it does.
You know, we did get a lot of requests to start doing a sci-fi too. So that was another thing that played into this.
Yeah.
We've seen too many sci-fis, turns out.
Yeah, although I guess I think of this movie as more of just an action movie. I guess
That's fair.
I guess it is like, you know, now that you mention it, I'm like, yeah, I guess the Predator itself is a sci-fi thing, but
Right.
I don't know. It feels like, in my mind, this movie is just, you know, like Rambo. There just happens to be an invisible monster.
You ain't seen Rambo.
No, I haven't seen Rambo.
There are invisible monsters in Rambo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're just Stallone's inner demons.
Oh, right.
He's coping with his own feelings.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this one and see how I feel.
Me
about
too. I'm excited for Ray to scream at the podcast at you.
Oh, yeah. One thing I think I can guarantee is that Ray's going to be mad at our takes on this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say nothing but good things about it just to...
Yeah, just
Stay
to
on his
protect
good side.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he doesn't show up at your house with a crowbar.
Man, Arnold should have won an Academy Award for this performance. That's going to be me. Real soon.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Let's go watch it right now.
Let's do it.
Right now.
Culture Gas.
Gregg, you son of a bitch.
That's the sound of our muscles slapping together.
Oh. Really? I didn't
Yeah.
think it sounded like that.
It did. I mean, it just happened. What do you mean? You heard it for yourself.
I ain't got no muscles to slap.
Yeah, we both have huge beefy arms.
That's accurate, but not in the way that maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger does.
Yeah, that's true. He's very muscular in this movie.
Oh my God, is he muscular in this movie?
Everyone is muscular in this movie.
Well, yeah, everyone. Everyone in this movie is muscular.
This movie basically stars a series of muscles.
Like clams.
Yeah.
Just
Shellfish
a bunch
muscles.
of clams.
Yeah.
Clams in the jungle. That's what they call this movie.
Yeah, that's what they called it on set.
So, Predator, 1987. Greg,
Yeah.
the original. You've
Yep.
seen it.
I have now seen this movie that
Just to
I've
be
heard
clear,
so much about.
This is the first Predator movie you've seen at all, right? With any Predator in it? Or you've seen
That's
one with
correct.
Predator?
No, I haven't seen
Oh.
anything. No, like
So you've never
Alien versus Predator or anything.
Well, I was curious because you've seen like Alien and Aliens, but
Yeah.
you haven't seen any Alien movies with predators in them.
No, I think they're generally considered to be those are separate franchises, I think, in general.
Alien vs. Predator is different? Okay.
I
feel like it's...
I don't think Alien versus Predator is part of the larger Alien continuity.
I don't know. I think it's Aliens and then Predators, two franchises, and then they like meet in the middle, like a Venn diagram. And the middle of the Venn diagram is
You know, let's just go with it. Yeah, that's
AVP.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it. Alien versus Predator is Venn diagram. We got there in the end. We can move past it.
All right. So, you must have loved this then, yes?
It was okay. I'll be honest with you. I think maybe it's just that I have seen so many clips of this movie and quotes from it or something.
Or memes.
Yeah, this movie just... there was no surprise in this movie at all from beginning to end. It was just like... I just went into it with certain expectations. They were all met, and the movie ended. And I was like, okay, I guess I watched that movie now. I don't know if I needed to.
I was thinking about it afterwards, too, and I was like, if I was to guess what Gregg thought of this movie, it would be that it's exactly what he expected.
Yeah.
And not enthusiastic about it at all. Just, that's exactly what I thought it was.
Yeah, it was fine. I wonder,
cheesy action movie.
Yeah, like maybe in 1987, this was more fun. I think the special effects were probably more cutting edge at the time. I mean, I know they were pretty cutting edge for the time, but watching it now, it just looks a little janky.
I know. I could see the invisible predator.
Well, that was by design. I mean, they can see the predator and it's invisible too. It's just like advanced camouflage, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It just, or, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger says that he thinks the reason this movie was successful is because all the men were appropriately big and muscular.
Wow.
Which there might be something to that. I mean, at this point, I think the type of physique we see in this movie is so commonplace in like Hollywood tentpole movies, like just anything with like The Rock or John Cena or, you know, any Marvel movie. Every male superhero has like an impossible physique, and actors will undergo insane transformations when they're cast in big budget movies. I feel like maybe in 87, this was a little more like, fun to see this many over the top, like hyper masculine, muscular dudes in one place.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was action movies at the time. But for this movie specifically, apparently Arnold Schwarzenegger had a gym shipped down to the set in Mexico in the hotel that they were in so that they could work out every day on set and stay maximum swole.
Yeah. And there was a lot from what I read, there was a lot of sort of like competition among the men too about their size, to the point where they would like compete to get up earlier than each other to start working out before showing up to set. So they would be waking up at like 3 a.m. to get to the gym before everyone else. Carl Weathers said that he was like, he would only work out when other people weren't around so that he could say that his physique was just like totally natural and he wasn't doing anything. It just seems
secret
like
workouts.
Yeah, it just seems like this movie really was like just a group of like these actual like hyper masculine bros going into the jungle and then just like, trying to like out muscle each other. Like that scene where Arnold and Carl Weathers just like immediately get into an arm wrestling match as soon as they see each other. It's just like, I feel like the perfect metaphor for the type of relationship that these type of men have in these kinds of movies. Like, I guess going back to like the homosocial thing from Top Gun, just like the way that straight men interact with one another in hyper masculine ways. It's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think this one's a little more like hitting it on the head with the whole through the lens at a male body. This is
Yeah.
looking at muscles nonstop.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think, I think there's something like aspirational about it. We talked about that before, but I think it's like a sort of wish fulfillment kind of thing. Like, what if I had muscles like that?
Oh yeah,
Right?
I worked out since watching this movie.
Did you?
Yeah, twice.
Wow. Impressive.
Yep.
That's 2 more times than I worked out, so.
Wow. You didn't see this movie and you're like, man, I need to get those muscles like now.
No.
Okay.
I don't need those muscles.
Can you imagine me with those muscles in this height?
Yeah, you'd be like one of those like muscly dogs.
Yeah, like a little muscle, or like those.
Stocky.
You know the fish at the beach, and I guess they're all at a beach, kind of in SpongeBob. The fish on Muscle Beach.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. In general, I thought this movie was fine. It was just fine. It was just like there was nothing necessarily bad about it. It just wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't surprising or necessarily interesting. Like, I found myself kind of bored by a lot of the action scenes just because I was like, all right, well, let's just move on.
I mean, I don't really know. What's your take on action movies? Like, do you even care about them at all? You never talk about them.
I have similar opinions about action movies that I do to musicals. I think of action scenes. Yeah, I think of action scenes like musical numbers, where they have to be like moving the story along. There has to be a reason for it. I don't want to just watch like 10 minutes of someone punching each other and then nothing happens. Like a great example is like the so-called Burly Brawl from The Matrix Reloaded is like this 10-minute fight scene with Neo and like 100 Agent Smiths. But within 30 seconds of the fight, you realize there's no way for either of them to win. Like they're both outmatched. Like they can't defeat each other, but you still have to watch them fight for 9 more minutes before scene ends.
Oh my God. You are saying exactly how I feel about this too. Action movies in general, except it's not that it has to move the plot along for me. It's more so that it just has to be good. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a kung fu movie where they're actually doing kung fu and it's human versus human, I understand the consequences. And, like, it's impressive. People are doing actual fighting, and it looks great. Mm-hmm. So I can watch that and see that whole scene and not get bored. But if I'm sitting through something like these movies or, I don't know, comic book movies
I was
where
going
they're
to say
fighting
like
robots,
CGI
or you don't know,
fest,
like Superman fighting, throwing people through buildings. I have no idea how anyone can ever get hurt. Like it's just a bit kryptonite. But
well, I think that's another good example, like that scene you're referencing in Man of Steel, where they're the Kryptonians are just like flinging each other halfway across the city. And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but what's the point? Like, what are the stakes? No one's getting hurt. No one can get hurt. Like, what are the...
Not true. Who's getting hurt is all the people in those buildings. The Superman's throwing a bad guy through. But civilians he doesn't care about.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you where, like, if the action is stylized and interesting, sure. But I also think you need, like, character beats within it. Like, like Edgar Wright, I think, is someone we can both agree does really good action. And, like, a good example is, like, a random thing that comes to mind for his movies is in The World's End, when the fight first breaks out in that bar, and, like, Nick Frost's character, like, picks up 2 stools or whatever and starts, like, there's just, like, moments for each character to sort of have a moment to shine, and you can see what they're like under pressure and that kind of thing. So there's interest beyond just... who's punching who and who's getting more beat up. It's like there's actual like stakes, there's story being told, there's character development. That's as long as that's happening in an action scene, I'm totally fine with it. But I get bored when when there are no more stakes, or it goes on for way too long, or, nothing is happening or moving forward.
Yeah, I guess there's just exceptions for me for that one. Like, I'm just thinking of movies like The Raid, where a fight scene goes on forever as he goes up the building, and it doesn't get bored at all. And or like Transporter movies with Jason Statham. I think those action scenes are great. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's also I like the John Wick movies, and I think a lot of those action scenes are just really well choreographed, but not necessarily, there's not a whole lot happening in them a lot of times. But I also don't think they overstay their welcome, and everything is so well, as I said, it's so well choreographed. There's something to stimulate your mind while you're watching it,
Yeah. I mean, in this movie, there's a lot of shooting the jungle. So it's kind of...
Well, there's that one rough scene. Great. There's that one scene where Bill Duke just shouts "Sergeant," and every single person starts shooting indiscriminately into the trees. No one saw anything, but they all empty all of their clips, just shooting all of their ammo at absolutely nothing without ever verifying that anything was there or knowing what they were shooting at. I'm just why are you doing this? It's like when a dog barks and then all the other dogs start barking and you're you don't even know what the first dog was barking about.
First dog doesn't know what he's barking about.
Yeah. I'm just going to all start shooting because this guy was shooting. That guy's clearly losing his mind. By the end of that movie, I mean, Bill Duke is singing to himself.
Oh yeah, he goes nuts.
Yeah, but I loved him in this movie. I thought Bill Duke was great in that role.
Oh yeah, he was. He's one of the best.
I thought he brought a completely different level of acting to this movie
than everyone else. Yeah.
Like Jesse Ventura and fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're fine, 80s action movies. You don't need anything more than that. But the fact that Bill Duke was showing up for this movie, I very much appreciated.
I agree. Yeah, I forgot because I haven't seen this movie in a long time.
Yeah.
This is many years.
Yeah, you have seen this before. I kind of forgot.
I have. No, I think I've seen... No, I don't think every... Because there's newer ones. There's a newer Predator I haven't seen. I think I've seen every other Predator movie.
The Shane Black one. Although, weirdly, Shane Black was in this movie. I didn't realize that. I was what?
Briefly. He's killed off first for a reason. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, what a horrible character.
Oh my god! No, that was my note. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and something I completely forgot was how awful these guys are, and how completely fine you are with them dying in this jungle.
I know, yeah.
Just
one of them,
that one plane ride.
I know, one of them in the helicopter just drops the F slur almost immediately. It's spitting, chewing tobacco on people's shoes. It's just cool, seems like a great guy. And then when he dies, Arnold's he was a good soldier. And you're no, he wasn't. He's a piece of
You're
shit.
You're hanging out with the wrong guy, Arnold. He was the worst. So there was the guy who kept making the jokes about his girlfriend, too.
Right. Yeah, that was Shane
Black.
Black.
With anyone.
Yeah. And Shane Black apparently wrote those jokes himself, which I'm just Shane Black is better than that. I don't know why.
Well,
those were bad.
I don't know if the jokes were supposed to be funny, though, because everyone didn't find him funny in the movie.
I guess
I think
true.
It was supposed to be this guy's that terrible. Same with Jesse Ventura. I think they were aware, and this is where it's kind of up to interpretation. We don't know. We're speculating, kind of like in Friday. Or
I tend to I try to lean on the side of giving the filmmakers the benefit of the doubt, though. I think you're right.
I think the juxtaposition between Arnold's character and Carl Weathers' character, and then the other guys, kind of shows that these are the likable guys,
right?
And then everyone else is supposed to be mostly terrible, besides Billy, who you're supposed to find mysterious and cool.
Oh yeah, Billy. Yeah, he was interesting. Oh my god, I read that actor. They had to hire a bodyguard just to prevent that actor from assaulting other people on set. Because he had a history of assaulting people, and the studio couldn't get this movie insured without hiring a bodyguard specifically for this guy, because their insurance company was just like, no, he's too much of a liability. We'll only
Maybe get
insure
another
this.
guy?
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, cast somebody else.
Oh my god.
If one of your actors is like well known for just assaulting people, like maybe don't hire him. I don't know.
Yeah. Big mistake.
So early on in this movie, when, I started to realize just how like masculine this movie was going to be, I wrote, there isn't going to be a single woman in this movie, is there? And
but there
I was
was.
wrong. There is a single woman in this movie. There's only
Prisoner of
one.
war.
She gets absolutely nothing to do in any way except try to escape a couple times and then witness a murder. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point to her, though, and that was kind of explaining how the Predator attacks people and showing that he wasn't attacking her for a reason. And they were kind of
that's true.
illustrating that with her.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not a threat.
I guess. Yeah. Like,
You're just you're unarmed and
you're
prisoner.
unarmed. That's why he didn't attack you, I guess. But still, it's just like, I mean, I don't know. It still just felt like she was just written into the movie because someone at some point was like, there are no women in this movie. We need to add one.
I wonder if anyone actually thought that.
I'm fairly
Yeah.
certain. Yeah, that kind of stuff comes up. I will say, to this movie's credit, though, I think, it moves at a nice pace. Like, it doesn't waste any time getting into it. You're just like, there's a brief scene to set up the story, and then you're just like flying into the jungle. And it just kind of, goes from there. Although I did think it was interesting that they show us the Predator's perspective so early on, because I kind of...
But not the Predator.
It's true. I mean, the Predator shows up earlier than you might think.
That's true,
before
briefly.
the halfway point. But yeah, I mean, I guess I thought it was going to be a bit more of like a tease, like you don't know what's going on really, and people are just disappearing, and there's kind of just like building tension, like what's happening, what's out there. But it's the movie just kind of shows you, like the opening scene shows you aliens dropping someone off on Earth. Like there's no real mystery to it. I don't know. I kind of wish the movie spent a little more time just like building tension and making you wonder like what sort of invisible creature is hunting them.
Wow.
But
It's interesting from your perspective saying this, because I actually wrote down that I thought that the tension building was nice how they did it, and I thought they did a good job of this. So it's because, but I've seen it before, so I knew what was coming and what to expect, and I was thinking of it like, oh, this is when they're showing this. Like,
I mean, it would have been a very different movie from what I'm describing. Like, what I'm describing is basically like the first Alien, which I think would have been great, but this would have been a totally different movie. This would have been, like a horror movie, and it's not. It's an action movie.
no, it is.
This is a horror movie?
Okay, this is a thing that Amelia and I were arguing with while watching this movie.
How could you argue this is horror?
First of all, it's written in the genre of the movie as you look it up. It says
where?
Action, horror, sci-fi. Those are the three genres. I think adventure is in there too.
Okay, sure. I mean, it has elements of these things.
This is a movie where they're in a jungle and something unknown, invisible, with superhuman strength is tracking them down and killing them, skinning them alive, collecting their bones. They're showing hanging bodies from a tree, all bloody. Like he rips someone's spine and skull out of their body and collects it. Like, this is a horror movie.
No, okay, no, that's just action
It's a slasher
stuff.
movie.
No, Mike, okay, I could Saving Private Ryan, there's like people with their guts spilling out, there's dead bodies and gore everywhere. It's a horror movie. No, right? Like that's your argument. Like it's
No, my argument was that people are being skinned and hung from trees like for a terrifying scene.
That doesn't make it a horror movie. I mean, it's like it's a horrific sight, but that doesn't mean, I mean, there are plenty of action movies that have like horrific things in them. Like this movie, at no point is this movie scary.
Wow.
Like it's gory, but it's not scary. You're never like, oh shit. Like you're never like, oh, there's none of this like suspense, tension, release kind of dynamic that
maybe
you expect
it just
from
doesn't
horror
do it
movies.
well, or maybe I thought there was like just moments where the predator shows up behind them, or Arnold's hanging on under the log and trying to be quiet while he's above him. Like there's just these moments in the dark where it's terrifying and there's jump scares. Like I don't. Like,
I completely disagree.
Wow.
I watch a lot of horror movies. I would say this movie has definitely takes influence from horror movies, but I could not possibly call this a horror movie.
Wow. Well, it's a
like
it's
the
in horror
influence.
genre,
The
so.
influence is there for sure, but I wouldn't call it a horror movie.
I mean, the cheesy action scenes kind of outshine it. So
I mean, this is also a movie where there's like like a massacre of like 70 people and like explosions and silly one-liners.
possibly innocent, possibly not. Who are these
I know.
people?
I was
I
like,
don't
who
know.
are these people that were just watching him murdered? They seem to have no idea what's happening. They're barely fighting back. They mostly seem to just be running away.
Wow.
And our heroes are just indiscriminately killing them.
Wow. This movie reminded me of part of the reason I wanted to do this podcast. The Hot Fuzz, where he's talking about action movies. And you haven't seen this movie? You haven't seen Top Gun? No, not Top Gun. You haven't seen Bad Boys 2? It's Bad Boys 2
Yeah.
Point Break. But they make a whole point about these cheesy one-liners and delivering them after doing cool things. And like, they're like, did you say something cool after? He's like, yeah, I told him to cool off. And Arnold does this in the most ridiculous way in this movie.
I know.
I just find it entertaining.
Yeah.
I feel like this, for what people expect, this movie delivers it well. If you're into this thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I 100% agree with that. This movie, and I think that's what I was getting at the start when I said that this movie is exactly what you expect. Like, it's not going to surprise you. It's just exactly what you think. It's what it says on the tin. Like, it's just the movie that you think Predator is. Like, anyone who hasn't seen this movie, you basically have. I don't think you need to go see it.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like Ray is going to be mad at us for this.
Maybe.
I don't. I guess I'll be honest. I don't know that this was really essential viewing. I feel like it's something that I should have seen because of its cultural significance, but I just don't understand how this is like.
Greg, we're finding that about a lot of these movies.
Yeah.
They're not essential. They're just people
true.
loved them when they came out.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just, like 25 years later, this is just, it doesn't work the same. No, not 25, 35.
35 years.
Jesus.
Yeah. My Lord.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, okay. Taking that into account.
Oh, this is older than I thought.
I'm just like, oh, yeah, this movie is 35 years old. I guess it's, maybe
older
this
than us.
Was more fun for audiences back then. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. How do you feel about The Predator?
I don't know. It's weird that it has like dreadlocks. Like,
The Predator's got cultural appropriation going on.
I actually did read that the guy who designed the Predator based the design off a painting of a Rastafarian. So I'm like, that's not great, guys.
Why?
I don't know. And then they added the mandibles because James Cameron, I guess, was just suggested it. I don't know why James Cameron suggested it, but he did. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I thought the design was just a little silly. Once the mask comes off, though, I liked how gross the like mandible was. That was kind of fun.
Really? I
Well,
love
like,
Predator before the
dripping
mask comes off.
Oh.
I guess it's just iconic to me, having seen all these movies a long time ago.
But yeah, I don't know. I think just in general, maybe this was part of my issue with the movie. I feel like the Predator just looks a little goofy.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
When he's jumping around, you kind of notice the dreadlocks are bouncing. It's strange because that's a heavy costume that guy's got on.
Yeah, it was 200 pounds.
Wow.
Prosthetics and costumes. Like the guy couldn't move at all.
God. They had him like strung up for this.
Yeah, he was like in wires because it was like the only way he could move naturally with a 200-pound suit on.
Yeah, so it would look a little weird when he's moving around.
But also but even outside of the moving, I just feel like the design, I just didn't love it. I also feel like it's a huge liability that the Predator only has this like rudimentary like heat vision. You can like barely see anything, like, and it just like begs the question, like, how did the Predator like see all the tripwires and stuff that it avoids earlier in the movie? Like, it can't see any detail at all. Like, all it sees is just heat or not heat.
Right.
I don't know. It's just like, how does this work? How does the Predator know who's armed or not? You know, like when he doesn't attack that woman, how can he even tell the difference? Like, how does he know what she's holding or not?
Greg, you're thinking too far into this.
Yeah, I think this movie you're supposed to just turn off your brain and just have fun.
Yeah, I definitely did.
You had fun?
Turned
off.
Brain.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think I had some fun. You know, I like you said, I checked out on the action scenes mostly. It was just shooting in the jungle at nothing, mostly.
Right.
But I love the cheesy parts. I don't like that's the part I liked is when Arnold was delivering those one-liners or people were being over the top.
Right.
Oh, the way he says Dylan in the beginning of the movie, I died at that one. Dylan, he's like,
Dylan,
Dylan,
you son of a bitch.
What is this Thai business? That end fight though, that whole scene where Arnold's getting ready to fight the Predator,
right?
And he, for some reason, has all the time in the goddamn world to scrounge around the jungle, collecting all the supplies possible.
Well, because he's covered in mud, so Predator can't see him. Because that's how heat works.
Covered in mud, sitting next to his fire that he just built. Like,
well,
Predator can see the fire.
Did he make a fire? I thought he lights the fire once he's trying to get Predator's attention.
There's a scene where he's around the fire, basically bow-flexing branches, building stuff, and then applying the mud on his face.
Right.
Super slow in front of the fire. Which it looks like he's looking in a mirror in that scene, and it's very strange.
I must have just checked out at a certain point because I was like, yeah, it's just the prep montage, and then he's going to have a big fight and win. Wow. And he did. I don't know. I'm just like running out of stuff to say about this movie. It was because it's just like, yeah, it was fine. It is what it is.
There was some camera work that I noted that I really liked in this. Actually,
interesting.
First of all, sound editing in this movie, god awful. Like,
in terms
I don't
of
know
like
what
volume.
it is. The dialogue,
the
the
dialogue's real
dialogue
quiet.
is so low.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I barely could watch this in my house. No, but in that final fight scene, there's a point where the Predator just got hit and he's bleeding, and Arnold's following him, and the camera is following Arnold, but up like the hill, looking at every point of blood as if you're following exactly what Arnold's thinking at the time, allowing the audience to deduce what he's thinking. And I just thought it was shot really well. So I just wanted to give him props on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that reminds me of another shot I liked too earlier on when one of their guys goes missing and Arnold sort of walks right past the pool of blood, and then the camera pans upward to show you the guy like dangling upside down, bleeding out.
That's pretty neat.
It was kind of a nice shot. This like slow pan upward.
Yeah, I liked it.
Took its time.
Do you have any trivia?
I have some trivia.
Hit me.
So, you know how I told you that all the bros in this movie were always like competing with each other about
Yes.
who could be like the most muscular or whatever, the most manly man?
Yeah.
There was one story I thought was really funny where Jesse Ventura, when he was getting measured by the wardrobe department, they told him that his arms measured an inch wider than Arnold Schwarzenegger's. And Jesse Ventura was thrilled about this and went to Arnold and was like, I'm going to make a bet who has bigger arms. Loser has to buy the other one a bottle of champagne or whatever. And Arnold took the bet and won because Arnold had told the wardrobe department to tell Jesse Ventura that his arms were bigger, even though they weren't, just to flatter
That's
his
the
ego.
best.
Yeah. So Jesse Ventura
I love that.
could have just accepted it humbly, but he didn't and then got put in his place.
Wow.
Yeah. And I love that story too, because Arnold is being so humble in it and still comes out on top.
He takes the bet, though. He's like, all right, if you're going to be an asshole. It's funny about the whole them working out in the morning, because I read that, what's his name? The guy who you needed a bodyguard for. I don't know the actor's name. Played Billy.
What was his name? Sonny Landham.
Yeah, Sonny Landham. Did not want to work out every morning like everyone else. And in fact, was so tired of working out that he pretended to oversleep so he didn't have to because he was in so much pain. Which is funny because they don't really need a bodyguard for this guy because clearly he's not as buff as the rest of them. Right? He's not getting in his reps.
Right.
He can't take those guys.
Yeah, that's true. Got some built-in protection there.
Yeah, like, why do you need a bodyguard when all these guys are on set?
Well, they're actors, too. They're just in their trailers.
Are they? I don't know where they are. I just feel like they're in the jungle.
Well, I mean, that was like a big thing about this movie was that they did genuinely shoot this on location in the jungle, and apparently it was pretty horrible.
Yeah.
The actors say it was just a nightmare. It was like really hot and humid, and there were like leeches and poisonous or venomous snakes and things. And like Arnold Schwarzenegger said that the night scenes at the end where he's just like covered in mud and swimming through water were like ice cold and he couldn't stop shivering. The guy who played Predator said that this wasn't a movie, it was a survival story for us all.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Do you think it was hotter in the jungle for them filming or hotter in your house right now while you're filming this podcast? Who do you think has it worse?
I definitely have it the worst. It's never been hotter anywhere on the planet except for in the room that I am in right now. I am
Climate change is hitting
sweat.
your house pretty hard.
In this room specifically, yeah, it's very targeted.
It's the furnace room.
Yeah.
I read that Jean-Claude Van Damme was supposed to play a Predator.
That is absolutely true. In fact, he did it for a little while. They shot some stuff with him.
Apparently he had a little, not a spat, I don't want to call it that, with the producer about wanting the Predator to kickbox, because it's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right.
But the producer's like, no, stop trying to kickbox all the time. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, I did read that, like, the costume was just too much for him to be able to, like, do his thing, his, like, martial art stuff that he does.
Yeah.
But the official reason why he was removed from the movie was actually that he was too short. So he was 5'9".
Wow.
So then they cast Kevin Peter Hall, who is 7'2".
5'9", so short.
So short.
So short.
I mean, that's the official reason why Jean-Claude Van Damme was fired. Who knows if that's the actual reason?
Yeah.
I also read that the Predator's blood was a mixture of glow stick liquid and KY jelly. Basically just like what you'd find in the bathroom at like a gay rave.
Fun fact: the Predator and I have the same blood.
Yeah, you just like walk into the bathroom and you're like, did someone wound the Predator in here, or is someone barebacking in the stall next door?
Oh my god.
Or both, who knows? All right, that's all I got for trivia.
All right, well, I got some trivia for you, Greg, in a little game I like to call Trial by Trivia.
Oh shit!
Oh shit's right. I've
Trial
narrowed it
by
down to
fire
five
tonight.
No, not because you're so hot.
Yeah,
Greg's so hot right now.
I am so hot right now.
Yeah, I got some trivia questions for you, and I hope you have some answers. And for your sake, I hope they're right. Because if you win, nothing's going to happen. Literally nothing. It's just no stakes at all.
Oh shit! Just like Predator. Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Kevin Peter Hall, the actor who physically played the Predator in the movie,
Yep.
also played another full prosthetic creature in a movie that came out the same year.
Yep.
What was that movie?
The most frustrating part about this is I did read this earlier today. And
I loved this piece of trivia.
Oh boy. I remember
Yep.
he played Sasquatch and Harry and the Hendersons.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I remember loving that.
He's a
movie when I
tall
was kid.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Surprised it wasn't Doug Jones.
Right?
Maybe
What was he
it's too
doing
early
in,
in his career?
This isn't a trivia question. What was Doug Jones doing in '87?
Good question. Could find out.
Are you looking it up right now?
Yeah, I'm just taking a quick look.
Doug Jones, if you're listening, call us up. Can you imagine if Doug Jones listened to our podcast?
Call in. We need to hear from you.
Do you think he can speak, or he just like make fish sounds, or whatever creature he is?
Yeah, probably just fish sounds. So yeah, in 1987, he wasn't acting yet. His first film credit is 1988 in a film called The Newly Deads.
Was he a kangaroo?
He plays a character named Tim.
Tim the kangaroo. Wow.
Yeah.
Original.
All right.
Question number 2, Greg.
Neurodose.
The film starred 2 actors who later became United States governors. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse Ventura. What states were they governors of?
Jesse Ventura was in Minnesota, don't you know? And Arnold Schwarzenegger was California.
Wow, good job.
California.
Let's hear your Jesse Ventura.
Jesse Ventura.
Best impression. Go.
Minnesota.
I thought you were about to drop an F word.
Oh, no.
Sexual Tyrannosaurus. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Whew, all right. Number 3. This one's more up your alley, even though you got 2 right so far.
I'm doing
you're
way
on a
better
roll.
this time.
I made them a little easier this time. What was the top grossing movie the year this came out?
This was 1987.
Yep. Had I not looked up all these things, I would never get any of these questions right. Let's just be clear. Yeah. There's no possible way I could even tell you a movie that came out in this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to guess, to be honest.
Just throw one out there.
I can't think of anything that came out in 1987.
Harry and the Hendersons. Can you imagine? Top grossing movie.
The top grossing movie. I don't know. Was it Indiana Jones?
No. It was not. It was Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get there.
No, you weren't going to get there. That's fine. 2 out of 3 is pretty good so far.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 4. What other Arnold Schwarzenegger movie came out that same year?
1987?
Yep.
What did...
I can't name any more movies. 87's a mystery.
Yeah, I feel like I read something about this as well today that referenced it. But I'm not sure. Total Recall was 1990. It's not that.
Do you want to call in a hint?
Yeah, let's call in a hint.
Let's phone up a hint. Dial it up. This is where the phone's. Yeah, thanks. Okay. The title of this
You
movie.
should answer the phone, Mike.
Oh, shit.
Are you going to answer?
Yeah. Hello?
I don't think you answered.
Shit, no.
Oh, went to
actually
voicemail.
hung up.
You missed. All
No,
right.
no hint.
God damn it.
Sorry, no hint.
All right. It was Commando.
No. It was Running Man.
Damn it.
That took us a while to get there.
If only I could have got that hint.
What I was gonna say for your hint. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
this is how you might describe Tom Cruise.
A
Running Man.
Yeah. You're very proud of that one. You took a big
No.
sip in congratulations.
I sip every time there's a break. Don't you call me out on my bullshit. Not on this podcast.
Yeah, I would never.
All right, question number 5. Last question.
All right. Let's see if I
the
can
day.
get above 2.
John McTiernan
Yep.
was the director of the movie.
That is correct.
We didn't say his name till now. Which of the following movies did he not work on after Predator?
In any capacity?
A.
Okay.
A.
All right. No questions, apparently.
Die Hard. B. The Hunt for Red October. C. Die Hard with a Vengeance. Or D. Die Hard 2 Die Harder.
Oh, boy. Come on. Well, I know he directed the original Die Hard at least. I mean, I imagine he probably was a producer on the follow-ups to Die Hard. So but I also feel like this is probably a trick question from you. So I'm going to say Die Hard.
You want to
with
phone in a
Vengeance.
hint?
Yeah, let's phone in a hint.
You already answered. You can't phone in a hint after you
goddamn
answer. Is that your final answer?
Sure.
Man, if you said no, we could have done a hint. No hint again.
What?
All right.
These rules seem pretty arbitrary.
Yeah. Sorry. No hint. That's incorrect. It's actually Die Hard 2 Die Harder.
Should have known.
Wasn't a trick question from me. I actually pulled this question from the internet. Wasn't me.
Oh, so it was someone else's trick question.
Someone else's trick question
Got it.
that I was willing to offer a hint for.
Yeah. Well, willing is the debatable term. So, Mike, you've seen this movie before,
I have.
but upon rewatch, what would you rate it?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Predator movies. Here's the thing, I'm a little skeptical of my rating system. Every time you criticize it, I have to look at it again and kind
boy.
of think of. So I feel like no movie has been rated on the same scale yet.
You're just always overthinking this.
My numbers are arbitrary. I'm going to give this 6 out of 10.
Wow. So better than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was a 5. Yes.
That was a 5. Wow.
I like this more.
Wow. That's wild.
But not Last Crusade. That was better.
Yeah, I think that one's undeniably
You know
better.
what? If I had to go back in time, I might do Raiders at a 6 too. But we're not.
Yeah, that seems more like what you were feeling about it when we talked about it. But yeah, for me, I would say I feel like I've said everything I can say about this movie. It was fine. It just was an action movie that I don't think I'll ever watch again. But it was fine. I give it a 4 out of 10.
That's fair.
It wasn't bad. It just it just wasn't my.
What do you think you'd give this
thing.
if you were someone who did like this kind of thing?
Oh, if I were like really into like 80s action movies with like big burly muscular dudes, this would be like a 9 out of 10. Like there's very little to fault with it in terms of like what it sets out to do. You know what I mean? Like if you want just this type of movie, this movie does a great job at it. I just personally found it kind of boring and just like something I've seen a million times, you know.
Wow. Yeah, that's fair. At this point in time, it's like seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have, but like it just feels like every
Right.
other action movie from that time.
Agreed.
Yeah. I really wish I knew what Ray would give it.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to check in with him and see what he has to say. I don't know. All right. So this movie was fine, but I'm hoping the next one will maybe be one that I at least just find more engaging. And next week, it's going to be one that neither of us have seen.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping that it'll be fun. This is a movie.
Oh, yeah.
The next one is one that has actually come up a lot in my personal life lately.
It has. People have been talking about it.
And it is the 90s classic Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know. People just keep bringing this movie up, and they're genuinely shocked when I tell them I haven't seen it.
Yeah, this is one our fans keep suggesting that we do.
Yep. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about that one. I think it'll be interesting. I don't know that much about it, so I think there will be a lot to dig into. So
Oh, I mean, we know one thing about it, and
it's got Tom
pretty
Cruise.
exciting. Yeah, it's got Tom Cruise.
Yeah. All right. Well,
all right.
Join us for the next episode when we watch and discuss Interview with the Vampire.
Hell yeah. Hey, Greg,
Yeah, Mike.
you're a really ugly motherfucker.
Culture Gap.